When you have your girls, you're never alone. You get together for coffee, maybe to work out, or just to laugh. We created Hey Girl, just for you. Can't wait for you to join us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Hey Girl. I'm your girl, Kim with an E, and this is episode 50. If you're just joining us, just want you to know that Hey Girl is a safe space where you can share your experiences and be affirmed. Let's face it, life can be complex and sometimes overwhelming. That's why we believe in the power of conversation, because knowing you're not alone is what helps us get through. Right, Yen?
Exactly. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Welcome back. You are looking luscious today, may I just say. My
Thank
goodness.
you.
I mean, just do one of these right quick.
Like this.
Yes, girl.
Thank you.
Hair.
Thank you.
Oh, welcome
Yes,
back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while.
I know. How are you? You're doing good?
I can't complain. I'm loving the warm weather that we're having in spurts. It's like
Yes,
spring is teasing us a little bit. Like it
it
gives us
is.
a little sun and then it gives us a little tornado and then we're
Right.
back to sun.
Alabama. That's what Alabama offers us.
What is going on?
I
But
know.
yes,
I know.
had a good day today. It was
Good.
warm and beautiful. We sat outside and ate, and
Yes.
yeah, I'm always in a good mood when the weather is nice.
You and I are the opposite.
I know,
I don't
I
look
know.
forward to the summer months. I love fall and winter.
And I am so cranky when it's cold. I'm just mad. I'm mad about everything. And you're mad when it's hot. So it just,
Oh, I'm miserable.
oh man. Well, I hope that you guys are having a great day and enjoying this warm weather. Hey,
Yeah.
Tanya, I see you, girl. Let us know that you're here. Say hello in the comments. And hey, Kim Jacobs, I see you. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day. Make sure that you like, follow, and share the Hey Girl page. You can share the live right now, in fact, so that those who are friends of yours can see what we are doing. And, I've been really enjoying this whole month as we've been highlighting
It's
women
been
in the
yeah.
medical field.
Yeah, I love it. It's so inspirational. It's so
It is.
inspirational. And I've learned a lot. It's
Yes.
just not sort of
Same.
sitting back and observing. I've learned quite a few. I loved all the guests that you've had so far. It's been so educational
They've
and
all brought
motivational.
something, yes, and they've all brought something unique, I
Right,
feel,
right.
to the discussion. I've really appreciated that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Hey,
we
Lisa,
are
Lisa
at the
on too. Sorry. Hey, Lisa.
yes, my comments come up a little delayed, so
Yeah,
definitely hello to all of you there. Glad you're with us.
yeah.
And Ruth Butler is there too. Hey Ruth. Let me see if I can pull that up, make sure I'm seeing everybody. All
Mhm.
right. Hey, Lisa. Hey, girl. Hey. But yeah, so this whole month, of course, because of Women's History, we are particularly paying homage to women, both historical women and women in the present who are doing great things. Oh, and then I mentioned at the top of the show, I forgot, this is episode 50, guys. Do you realize that we are coming up on a year? I can't believe it. Like, we're at the end of March. Next week is April, and on the 18th,
Yeah.
it will be exactly 1 year since we
Did
started.
it go by fast? What do you
It
think?
did. It really has. It
Yeah.
really has. I'm just speechless. I'm like, wow, how did we get here?
I'm so proud. I'm so proud. And it
Oh,
was just an idea. It's just an example of just an idea. And
true.
here you are a year later, have your own merchandise and
Yeah. Y'all
met
check out the Hey
again.
Girl store.
Check you've been able to connect with so many other women that you didn't know, that we didn't know.
Yeah.
through friends of friends, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah, I mean,
it's,
completely expanded the sister circle. That's
yeah,
exactly what we've done over this last
yeah,
year. It started with
yeah,
a small group and it's just
right.
been growing and growing. And we have just a tremendous, I think over 500 women have come through and continue to like the page. We've had thousands to watch. If I were to go back and look at the numbers over the
Amazing.
last year, it's just incredible. And I'm so thankful and just excited. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, we've made it to a year. Now what? A great
There's that
milestone.
too, right?
Yeah, ooh, no pressure. But
Right, right.
yeah, it has been a fantastic year. We have
Yeah,
met some incredible women. I mean, just completely blown us away with their stories.
yeah,
And I'm actually excited for the women that we have yet to meet because I
right.
actually have women lined up still for the
Amazing.
coming episodes, and
Yes.
I am so excited to meet them and to introduce them to everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, we got to think about how we're going to celebrate. We got to do something special this month. We got to.
I know. I can't wait to see what you come up with.
I have a few ideas up my sleeve, but I'm open to suggestions. So if you guys
Yes.
have ideas, do share. What should we do to
Yes,
celebrate Hey
please
Girl
do.
first anniversary?
It's interesting. Every week I do, this is sort of a side note, I see men jumping on and watching. So Mr. Avery Jacobs is joining you today, and I'm sure he wants to give a shout out, but was probably trying to be quiet. So we should also say it benefits men too.
Yeah, they are
You
our
know?
silent viewers. I think they watch quietly, indeed. But you know, they have their wives and their sisters and their
Yes.
cousins are coming on, and so they're interested in what
Hmm.
we're talking about. So I appreciate my male viewers. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you're there. Earlier on when we started, I don't know if he still watches, and I'm not going to call his name, but when we first started, one of my daughter's friends, the friend of my daughter's, it's her older brother. He's in his 20s. And she said it was like dates. He had it on his calendar. Like he would watch every week. I don't know if he still does, but was enjoying it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
I
that. He's
love it.
probably going to be a great boyfriend, a great husband, a great
Have
father.
so much inside knowledge about
Yeah,
the women in
yeah,
his life. So yeah, I'm so
that's
glad you
great.
guys are watching.
Yes.
um, so listen, we got to move on, but I wanted to also spend a little time over the next couple of minutes sharing with you about some incredible women. This is connected to our focus of Women's History Month. So last week I was actually looking for some information. I came across the information that we're going to share with you today, and I was just blown away by these women, and particularly because um, there are what was that? I don't know. Anyway, there are so many fields that people can go into for their professions. So many that we don't even know of or don't even think about. We think about the typical doctor, lawyer, teacher, whatever. But there are so many others, and in particular, there are certain industries I think that we assume are just sort of not available for women, right? We assume it's always going to be a man who is doing a certain kind of job. And so when I came across the information that we're about to share with you now about these women, I think that's what struck me most is that they were courageous enough to do it anyway, in spite of the fact that they were going into fields that were really dominated by men and not welcoming to women at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so the first of these women, her name is actually Kate McHugh. And she is, and it was just recently as 2015, in fact, the first female ship captain. So as recently as 2015, she became the captain of the Celebrity Edge, one of Celebrity Cruise Line's largest vessels. It's a $1 million ship. It houses almost 3,000 passengers and over 1,000 crew members. And she actually spent her early days first rose Disney Cruise Line. Then she rose to the ranks of Royal Caribbean and moved to Celebrity Cruise Lines. And that's where she became the first female ship captain. And who thinks about the person who's driving the ship of your favorite cruise
I
liner?
know. I'm always thinking it's a male.
You don't even assume it would even be possible for a woman to do
Right.
that. But
Right.
she, as a little girl, she forgot. I guess she went on a cruise or something with her family, and she was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
this is what I want to do," and
Yeah.
she's doing it.
And I think about someone, at least one person told her, and you can do that.
Yes,
Knowing what was stacked up against, her journey, somebody told her, you can do that,
yeah.
you
And
know?
she said,
And
"Okay."
sometimes that's all it takes, right?
It's true. It's true. Yeah. And so there's an interesting story though about her more recently. During if we think about the shutdown that happened a year ago, right? It just sort of disrupted life. And you know what the cruise ship industry was going through during COVID-19.
Yeah.
And so they said that McHugh's second stint on board the Celebrity Edge, which is the ship that she currently is the captain of, commenced in December of 2019. Now, you know what's significant about December of 2019. That was right before
That's
everything.
right around the corner.
Oh, man,
What
we
was
had no
waiting?
idea. We had no
None.
idea what was about to hit
Yeah.
us. And so she said her plan was to work her 3 months on board, and the next 3 months she'd be off. The last voyage of McHugh's December to March stretch was to coincide with International Women's Day, which is so perfect. And she said a special celebrity sailing was intended, where the entire ship was going to be manned by female officers. So it was going to be just this huge historic moment as she came to the end of her 3 month stint and was
Yeah.
getting ready to, disembark for her time off. And so it's just hilarious, kind of now in hindsight. She said that was a pinnacle moment in my career to be able to be on a ship that was manned by what we call the Ocean 27. She says, but that is the cruise that when everything went wrong, of course, because of COVID, and the person who was supposed to come and relieve her never showed. They were coming from
Oh
Greece, I think.
man.
Of course, there was no way because everything was shutting down. And so she actually spent the next 10 months on that ship, unable to disembark. Her crew was unable to. I mean, they were basically out at sea during the COVID
10
shutdown, not able.
months.
10 months, and she had told her husband, "Oh, I'll meet you." We're making plans. She's like, "Yeah, I'll meet you in 2 weeks. I'll be done with this, and we'll meet up." And she was like, 10 months later, she was still out to sea,
Wow.
completely shut down. But so the story talked about how she had to navigate that particular crisis, and on top of everything, just it was just such a crazy story. On top of
Right.
everything else, how
Wow. But she handled being the captain of right, for
everyone
10
took
months at sea. I mean, if you think about all the things that they had to implement and had to
right.
coordinate because they weren't supposed to be at sea for that long.
Exactly.
So that
Exactly.
that is some skill sets had to sort of
Right.
kick in immediately that were necessary. Wow.
Yeah. That
That's
extra
amazing.
challenge. I know. And it coincided with the funny thing is how it coincided with Women's
Yeah,
History Month, right at March is when it happened. It was
right.
like, now you take the reins and continue.
Right, right.
Yeah, so she was the
Well,
first female ship captain, 2015. And then,
yes, we
yeah,
have the first Black female ship captain, and this is Miss Belinda Bennett.
mhm,
So this is a year after Kate McHugh became the first captain, ship captain. Miss Bennett took her maiden voyage of MSY Windstar as captain. So this is our Black woman here. So unlike Miss McHugh's $1 billion cruise ship, she had a smaller yacht, but it could hold up to 148 guests. So
right.
it wasn't a sail, a canoe boat.
A
It wasn't a
sailboat,
canoe.
exactly.
No, she had a full yacht.
Yeah, and they say
But
it's
she was
luxury. It's a luxury cruise.
luxury, absolutely. And she was definitely suited for her position. She's originally from St. Helena, so she's from a small mountain, small island in
Right.
South Atlantic, which was kind of nice to know that you're coming from not the big city either, right? And when she was 17, she started working on the deck as a deck cadet on the RMS St. Helena. So she got her foot in that door right
Yeah.
away. She said, I want to experience this at 17. I don't know what I would say if my 17-year-old son said,
No,
I'm going to
I
go
want
work.
on a
Right.
ship.
This is my kind of shit, right? Well, in 4 years, she became the third officer and rose up to the ranks as second officer. 2 years later, she joined Windstar Cruise as a second officer and has never looked back. And what's interesting about her, when I read this, Kim, was that she originally wanted to be a marine biologist.
Yeah,
And she tried working in the yacht industry, and she was told that she was what? Overqualified.
qualified, right? Because
Overqualified.
she had a master's degree.
She
Like,
had a master's degree, so she was overqualified, and they were somewhat honest, or I'm not sure if it was her
yeah,
word or if it was others who have read and understood her story to say that there was not going to be a male that was going to basically follow the orders of a female.
right. I think she said in an interview that someone told her that. They were like, you know what, you might as well give this up. No men are not going to work for you. You have a master's degree and you're a woman and you're black. They're like, honey. But
So, yep, she ended up at the Windstar, and she has been happily working there for the past 14 years.
15 years. And you see the picture of her and her crew, right? That's the irony. They were like, no
Yeah.
men are going to work for any woman. And for the last 14 years, this has been her crew.
Right, right. And and I dare to say that that's not the majority. I
Mm,
think there are probably some who may struggle taking orders from females in higher positions, but I would dare say that's probably not the majority of the men.
I
You
hope not
know,
in this
I
age.
hope not. Well, she kind of proved a bit of it, where there were
Yeah,
still individuals who believed in her leadership. That means they trust her,
right.
her orders, and her skill set. So, yeah,
I
that
think over time they probably come to respect a woman or just
true.
a person if they prove themselves to be
Sure.
trustworthy and capable, which obviously she has. She's been doing it for
Mhm.
14 years.
14
So
years. Yeah.
yeah, so let that be an inspiration to us. Like regardless of what people say, do your job. Just do it
Sure.
and do it well,
Do
and
it
then
well.
they won't be able to say anything else.
Right.
Hey Jessica, I see you out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from sea to sky, okay? So we're gonna wrap this up, but I think when I saw men doing leading ships of men, I thought,
Mhm.
oh, pilots. If you think about the opposite,
Yeah.
what about the number of pilots who are women? Probably very few, right? What is amazing about this next group, and I'm just so proud of the work that they're doing. They call themselves Guys, and they are a group of black female pilots. Oh no, here are my notes. I found them. Okay, so there are currently less than 150 professional Black women pilots in the U.S. that hold airline, transport, pilot, commercial, military, or certified flight instructor certificates. So less than 1% of all professional pilots in the United States is a Black female. So these are like the creme de la creme, okay?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so these ladies have made it their mission to diversify the flight deck, and they have founded, rather than just being an anomaly, they've decided to found an organization to mentor and nurture other
Mhm.
young Black girls who may be interested, or even to cultivate the concept that they can be interested in a field such as this. And so they call themselves Sisters of the Skies, and they offer, they inspire young girls, they offer them scholarships and training and mentorship, so that one half of 1% can become a bigger number someday.
Yes.
And I love the quote by McHugh when we put her slide up. She said, she longs for the day when being the first of anything is not a thing. And
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that these Black women pilots are breaking barriers. And they said, the sky is not even the limit. So it just goes to show the mindset, right? That you
Yes.
have to have and that you should have when you want
Right.
to go for something that maybe is a little, untraditional.
Yeah.
Remember that these women are doing it.
They're doing it, and they're still doing it. Not they've done it, they're still doing it, you know?
Right.
When I was reading some of these write-ups, Kim, I thought, you know, I still get frustrated when I hear the first female. Oh, like,
Yeah.
2021, the first female to be
Right.
appointed, or the first. I keep saying to myself, are we still doing this? Like,
We still,
we
yeah.
are still talking about being the first female in a in I guess in the United States is all I can really speak
Yeah.
about. But but at the same time, I'm celebrating that because I'm like,
Yeah.
yes. But there's still this nag that I have that, oh gosh, we're still just doing it.
Right.
But what I do like about the Sisters of the Skies that you mentioned is they recognize, obviously, that they're the 1% and they are not keeping that door just cracked. They're
Yeah.
trying to open that door wide open to make sure that any female who's interested, or even just exposing them to the
Yeah.
field of, has a way in. And I think
Absolutely.
that's what's going to change the numbers. It
That
really
is.
is. Yeah.
That is making, having Women's History Month where we intentionally are spotlighting these kinds of things, and then having women who are breaking these barriers to reach back and open, like you said, open that door wider for others.
Yeah,
Those two together. Because first of all, we have to know that they're there, right? We don't think about
we
who's
do.
captain of the
Right.
ship. We don't think about who's flying the plane. But
Right.
so first of all, making us know that they're there, and then showing our girls what's possible for them as well.
Possible.
Love
Yes.
it. I
Yeah.
love everything about that. So
Yeah.
of course I'm like so inspired. I know we're coming down to the end of the Women's History Month, but that doesn't mean we have to stop putting emphasis on women and their accomplishments and their achievements. And so I'm already looking ahead at having a whole theme of women who are breaking barriers. And let's make
Right.
everyone know what's possible and
Right.
inspire our young girls to
Yeah.
do it, to not
Oh,
be
I love
afraid
that. I
for
love
it.
that. Yeah.
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 So, speaking of breaking barriers, our emphasis of women in medicine certainly is one that allows us to talk to women who are really doing this similar thing of opening doors and probably
Yeah.
breaking some barriers of their own, right?
Yeah. I'd love to talk about who we have on the show because I
So,
think she falls into that category.
I
Um,
agree.
and she has definitely broken some barriers all on her own. So Dr. Stacy Haynes is a dermatologist in Alabama with offices in Oxford and Birmingham. She's certified in mesotherapy and a member of the American Society of Aesthetic Mesotherapy, the Mineral District, and the National Medical Association. She has been in private practice for over 20 years. Her medical school training was completed at Meharry Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee, and after finishing a year of pathology at the VA Wadsworth Medical Center in California, she completed her dermatology residence at King Drew UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Haynes and her team are dedicated to the enhancement of natural beauty. I love that. They have developed an integrated approach to the treatment and management of skin conditions, which incorporates traditional medicine, cosmeceuticals, and non-invasive procedures. Dr. Haynes is married to Dr. Artie C. Nelson, a psychiatrist who's also practicing in Birmingham, and they have two daughters, Kamara and Janaya. Welcome, Dr. Stacy Haynes. We're so happy to have you here.
Yay!
Great. Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
Great. Are little
Oh, looks like we lost visual on her.
Do you have your camera on, Doc? I can hear you, but I
I
can't see you.
think I do. It's on.
Hmm.
Okay.
Let's put our glasses back on and see.
Just getting flashed.
Yeah,
Here
it's
you
on. It's definitely on. I'm so sorry. Maybe I did something weird. There you are. There we go. Glasses
There
are on.
Oh, I see you
Hey,
now.
how's everybody
Hi.
doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking, and thank you for having me on your show. To be number 50. Oh my God, that's going to be awesome.
Yes. Yeah, I
Right.
know. perfect round number. I love it. And we're so glad that you are here with us. We've been talking about women breaking barriers, and I would imagine that you, in the medical profession, have probably faced some challenges of your own, whether you've been the first of something or not. Can you share any that you can think of, being a woman in the medical field, that was particularly, you know, challenging, I guess, for you coming through the ranks?
Well, the interesting thing is we moved to, I trained out in California, as you stated, and there was a plethora of African American dermatologists. We were like, okay. So we moved to Birmingham, Alabama. And when I got here, there was only one dermatologist, African American, in the entire state. So when
Oh,
I
wow.
got here, I was the second one in the entire state. And that was, many, many, many years ago. We're not going to say how long. But at that point, I was the only female at that point. There had been one previously, but she had moved. So when I moved to town, it was me. So
Oh, yeah.
all the females came to me, and all the male went to the male
That's
dermatologist. So
so
that
funny.
was a huge barrier coming here, and not having the big support system that we're used to having, but just knowing that we could do what we needed to do to help everybody that looked like us.
So
Yeah.
do you think it's the field of dermatology? Are there less female physicians that go into that specific area of specialty, or is it the location? Was it coming to the South, or is it just that is the
Yeah.
barrier in the field?
So being a skin of color dermatologist, we're only like 3%, 2 to 3% of the total number of physicians. And it's a very competitive specialty to get into. And sometimes if you don't have a feeder school that will help you get into a training program, or say you didn't get with the right person, it's very, very difficult. And because of that, sometimes you choose other paths to take. You're still a physician,
Yeah,
but you're just not going to be able to do dermatology.
yeah.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
So would you say that you specialize in your practice, in brown skin? Is that a specialty you play?
Well, the good way to say it is I specialize in all. We take care of all patients. However, I do have a nice little niche. I really work with hair thinning and hair loss and skin of color, and also skin of color diseases. But in one office, I'm taking care of skin cancers, basal cell, squamous cell. We're doing
Mm.
body checks. We're doing skin removals and things. In other areas, I'm doing things to help make hair grow. So it's a real interesting combination.
Yeah, sounds
That
like
is,
it.
yeah. So I remember you were mentioning that, and I think that's true. We tend to go to the practitioners that look like us
Yeah.
because there's a security safety thing. Feel like you're going to give us the best treatment. It's going to be honest and whatnot because you look like me. But would you say that is there an actual difference between brown skin and Caucasian skin besides the obvious? So meaning is
Let's
our treatment plans different for our skin versus,
okay.
our counterparts? Yeah.
So in general, the diagnosis itself is the same diagnosis. It's just in some skin conditions, it just looks different. So for example, if you were looking at eczema, it's a dry, flaky skin condition. When you look in the dermatology textbooks, there it's going to be a picture of a skin that has a red rash and it's dry, flaky, scaly. Okay, so look at my skin. Is red going to
Right.
show up on me? No, red is not going to show up on me. Fortunately,
Yeah.
they do have new textbooks out that do show skin of color pictures. In an African American or skin of color, it's going to show a hyperpigmented, lichenified, kind of purpley, violaceous color, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be kind of gray looking. It's not going to be red. The other thing is, like, for example, in hair, a lot of people are used to washing their hair on a daily basis. So
Mm-hmm.
think about it. If you skin of color females were to wash your hair every day, what do you think will happen?
Mercy. Right.
Exactly.
It'd be awful.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
going to bring it home to you.
Yeah.
They're not used to going to the hair salon, once a week, once every other week, or once every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Braids, what are braids? You're supposed to take them out every night, wash your hair, put the
Oh my
braids back in.
goodness.
You know? And if you think about that, let's see, would you ever get to go to work?
Right.
No, I would spend my life doing my hair. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, you know, when you're trained to be a dermatologist, are you trained for the different manifestations of these skin diseases and things? How it will look on a black skin, on a white skin, on a another skin type or color, or because it's in the book as the on the white skin, that's all you know, kind of as a
Right.
coming out of school basically if you're
Right.
coming fresh out.
So that depends on your training program. Fortunately for me, I trained at King Drew UCLA,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a multitude of all skin types, from skin type 1, which is the fairest of the fair, to skin type 5, which is your blue black, my color and darker. So I was able to see everything. So I was able to figure out what a basal cell looked like on a skin type 1, which is your Caucasian skin, versus on my skin, what a basal cell would look like, and even if I would get it. Some programs, they're only in a small, narrow confine, and they only get to see what they get to see. So if they're not in the community and the community is not reached out to, then they're not going to get exposed. So if you're not exposed, then all you're used to seeing is what's in the textbook. So
Mm-hmm.
fortunately for me, I got a huge experience, and I'm able to handle all.
Yeah. Well, it also speaks to why we need people in these fields who look different, right? They don't all need to
Yes.
be white men. They don't all need to be black women, but we need to have all types of people who are trained to do these things so that you can bring that perspective to the work that you do because there's just maybe a blind spot, if that's not your experience and that's not who you're around,
Right.
it's not to say that you're intentionally being, dismissive of other groups, but it just speaks to the need for all of us to be at the table, basically, to bring that
Exactly.
perspective.
When I
Mhm.
first moved to town, I would get referrals from the other dermatologists. I have this patient, and you know exactly what was getting ready to say. And you're like, okay, skin of color patient, would you see this patient for me? I'm like, of course. But
Wow.
now they've kind of expanded their horizons, broadened their scope, and they are seeing more skin of color. They're getting out in the community a little bit more. So they are trying. They are really trying. But when I first moved to town, it only took about a week, and I was very busy.
You were the go-to, like, oh yeah, let's
Yeah, I
do
was. At one point, I really, really was.
this. So I'm
Oh,
interested in, the way in which COVID-19 has impacted your field in particular. Typically when we think of COVID, we're thinking of the lung issues and the breathing and that sort of thing. But I have heard that there are actually some, there's all these after effects of COVID is that people have been talking about, and one of them is actually a skin rash, right? Have you
Yes. Mhm.
seen evidence of that in any of your patients during this last year?
Fortunately, I have not.
Mhm.
But it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And they're supposed to
Yeah.
get a red rash, like on the lower extremities, sometimes up on the upper extremities. It can itch, and so they can scratch, scratch, scratch. But let me tell you what I am seeing, though, which is related to COVID, is all the hand sanitizer use. Everybody's coming in with hand
oh,
eczema, dried cuticle. You
Huh.
can even look at my hands and tell mine are dry because I do hand sanitizer before and after each patient, wash down everything.
Yeah.
So all my nurses, all my
yeah.
workers, everybody is having the hand issues, dry cuticles, your nails are drying out, you're getting the rough ridges. So I'm having to go through with that. The other thing we're seeing with the COVID is mask issues. So
I
when you take that
uh,
mask off, your face feels heavy, it feels oily, it feels greasy.
It's
So we have to
true.
work on the bumps that they're getting. I'm also
yes.
having to work on the dry lips that they're getting. So
Hmm.
yes, I'm seeing a lot of COVID related
My
things.
nose
That's
That I,
itches.
interesting.
yes, that
My nose
too.
stays itching the whole time. So I have
Yeah.
my mask on and I'm like, my nose itches.
Constantly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even think about those
Yeah,
things.
I
so
do. I did hear that there's a what is it? What are they calling it? There's something rashed on their face that's coming from the mask that people are showing up with, like when they, I don't know if there's a name for it, but yeah, I have heard about it. And actually my daughter came home the other day. She's like, Mom, look at these bumps on my face. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably the
So,
skin.
what can happen is you can get a contact dermatitis. So, say you get a really, really pretty mask that your friend made for you. It's,
Uh,
oh, let's see, bright orange, and it's got all the stitching and the rhinestones. Obviously, I've seen this at the office. And you wear it, and then when you take it off, you have all the little fine bumps, pretty much starting from here, going down to wherever it hits on the chin, okay? So that's a contact dermatitis due to the mask, usually due to the color or the dye that's
oh,
used in the mask. So my suggestion to most people would be, if it is a cloth mask, make sure that you wash it first to get the excess dye on, because as you get hot and sweaty, because you're wearing a mask, you're going to get hot and sweaty up underneath
yeah.
here. You'll have a sensitization, a reaction, which is called an irritant contact or contact dermatitis. The other thing, even if you're wearing the blue or the yellow, sometimes it has a chemical in it. So sometimes we'll tell you to get a white cloth one to go up underneath it, then put the blue or the yellow or black on top of it so that you won't have that irritation or contact dermatitis reaction. Now, if you do get it, come to me. You know I'm going to take care of you.
That's right.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine. It's fine.
I don't mind.
So,
So I'm going to ask you, I'm sorry, Yin, real quick, just a
go ahead.
follow up on that. So like, is there some just kind of treatment that needs to be done, or do they just need to like switch out the mask or take it off for a while to let the skin breathe?
Okay. So first things first, yes, please switch out the mask, wash it, let it
Mm-hmm.
air dry. You know, we always tell everybody, if you've got the really pretty, nice cloth ones, wash them, have at least 5 or 7 of them. That way you can rotate them and you don't have to worry about it. If it is due to the blue or the yellow, make sure you have a clean white one. Just the white cotton tends to do well. Once you do change out, you really will have to get medication, because it's kind of like a ball rolling down the hill. The reaction process has already started. And as that ball rolls down the hill, it's going to continue to roll until you put a stop in place. So if you don't put a stop in place, you'll still continue to have a contact reaction. So yes, some kind of medication that you can apply, or if it's really severe, we can do medications by mouth. It just really depends, but usually topically a cream once or twice a day for a few days to get it under control for you.
Got you. Okay.
So I have a COVID again related question. As
Okay.
you know, the recommendation, especially for the brown people, is to increase their vitamin D.
Yeah.
Wanted to know your thoughts about that, but also I'm curious to know, I know as we take our vitamin supplements, we also need sunlight in order to activate it. And so if you can just give us some guidelines,
Mm-hmm.
is being by the window enough?
Mm-hmm.
Direct sunlight, how much of my body has to be exposed, sort of, do I have to sunbathe in front of the window in order to make sure I get all the vitamin D I
Which
need?
is right. Like if it's wintertime, you can't be outside. So I guess,
Right, right. Because
yeah.
I'm assuming there's some risk that's going to be involved with the whole sun exposure for us.
So, I
So,
mean, wouldn't it be just wonderful if I said, yeah, get buck naked and go outside and expose yourself?
yes.
But no.
Yeah.
Yes, vitamin D is good. Vitamin D3. Most people now are very low on it because we just don't get a whole lot of sun exposure. Sun is just, you can sit in front of the window. Even though some of them are filtered, you're still getting the UVA, UVB exposure. You can wear shorts, you can wear a skirt, you can walk outside, just for a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. I will say, if you're going to be working outside, like doing yard work or doing gardening, because this is the time I've seen my neighbors out there, not me, but I'm seeing my neighbors out there. And I will say our biggest thing in dermatology is sunscreen. A lot of times if you have skin of color, you think just because I have the melanin, I have the protection that I need. And you do. But remember, the ozone layer is getting thinner and thinner. And so it's able to penetrate and get to everybody now. So we are saying make sure you have at least the SPF or sun protective factor of at least 20 or 30. Apply it in the morning and then apply it again at lunchtime. If you're not inside working all day. If you're inside working all day, then just first thing in the morning should be good, because the time you get off of work, The sun's just about down, so there's really no need. But if you're the weekend warrior and you're outside running, doing CrossFit, doing all those wonderful things my daughter loves to do, then more power, wear sunscreen.
Got you. Got you.
Good.
Okay, so let's talk beauty for a second.
Okay.
I saw a question. Well, let me go to Tanya's question first, and then I have a question. She's asking for fair skinned women of color, can anything be done to prevent or treat brownish? The comment just went away. Brownish colored spots. I think she said age spots on her skin
Yeah.
and face.
So
I guess.
yeah, we call it post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, if that's just the basic discoloration. Some people call them sunspots. Some people call them liver spots. Yes, there is something that can be done. If you go on my website, I do have a page called The Essentials, and I have put together like little kits just for some basic things. So especially I put this together when COVID started because people were calling, I need something, but I don't want to go to the store and get it. And this is like complete sets with cleansers, buffs, toners, masks, moisturizers. So it has a little bit in there. Now, if you're able to get to your dermatologist, I would suggest go, show them the areas, and yes, they can put you on medications. There are prescription medicines that will handle some of the age spots, but the most important thing, I'm going to say it one more time, sunscreen.
Oh, yeah.
Just make sure you wear your sunscreen
Yeah.
because once we put you on a really good regimen, you really need the sunscreen. And don't forget, if splotches all over, like from acne scars where you get the discoloration, you can get a chemical peel. Skin of color can have chemical peels and not get discolored and not get burned, as people say. Also, microdermabrasion. Both of these things exfoliate that whole top layer. So if you have a few little bumps, it'll help dry them up. It'll help to get rid of some of that discoloration and get you started on the right track. Then you can start your medications.
Okay, good
I know we have so
information.
much fun.
So kind of on the same line of the color spots or age spots, what about the infamous dark circles? What is the solution for that? Do we have to just suffer with it forever?
Uh, yes, you have to suffer. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
No.
No. So the first thing we always
Correct.
ask when you come into the office, we want to know, are you getting enough rest? So that's one thing. 2, do you have allergies? That can add to it. 3, do you have sinus issues? Sinus issues and allergies, you end up doing this all the time. So you
Wow.
get the puffiness, and then you get the little lines, and then you get the discoloration because you're constantly touching it, constantly rubbing the skin, which will make you have the discoloration. So once we rule that out, and we know that you're doing good on that one, you're getting your sleep, your allergies are under control, you're taking your sinus medications, and you can tell I'm not taking mine right now because I'm so nasal, so I understand. So yes, there are creams that are made specifically for the eye area that you can put on the upper and lower eyelids. It actually helps with some of the discoloration. There's also actually some things out there like that have seaweed and stuff in it that would help with the puffiness, because a lot of times when you have allergies and sinus, not only do you get the discoloration, but you get the little puffiness too. So yes, there's something there. Also, I love doing platelet-rich plasma, which we call PRP because it's too much to say all the time. So with PRP, we do eye rejuvenation, and it's not a bad procedure to have done. We actually draw your blood. Okay, so that may not be so wonderful, but we draw your blood, which means I don't hurt you because I don't draw your blood.
Oh.
We thin it down and we take the top part. So it breaks it down into red blood cells and white blood cells. So we take the white blood cells, we pull it out, we activate it, and then we can inject it right into these areas. And what it does, it fills that in and makes it look like your area is filled in. And it also works on that discoloration too, because what you're doing, you're putting white blood cells in there. And why are we so excited about that? Why? Because white blood cells, okay, let me let you think back to when you were a kid. Okay, everybody thinking, right? You were on your bicycle, you fell and you skinned your knee. What did your knee look like when you got up from the skinned knee? It was white and
Red.
raw.
Oh,
And some
It
people
was
say, I
whitish.
can see the meat, right?
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then 2 months later, you look back down again. And what did you see? A
I see.
normal knee color. Okay.
Mhm.
So those are the growth factors that are in our own blood that actually help us to
Wow.
rejuvenate the scalp, the face, the eye. So when we actually inject that in, it helps to rejuvenate that tissue. And when it does, it helps to plump it up and it helps to work on some of the discoloration.
Now,
Hmm.
how often does that have to, is it just a one-time procedure or how long does it
Okay.
take or is
So
it
yeah,
forever?
usually in skin, we're the long-term people. Only a few things work very quickly, and that would be Botox for sure.
Yeah.
So it's going to take more than one treatment. A
Mhm.
lot of people, once we look really, really good, and then it will reabsorb back into the skin. I will get a phone call from you saying, Dr. Stacy, guess what? And I'll say, what? And they'll say, I'm back to normal. What happened? Well, because it reabsorbs. But then it takes another month and then it starts to plump itself back out again. So
Okay.
usually we do this one once or twice a year until we get to the desired effect. And after that, maintenance is once a year.
Hmm. Okay.
Watching that video did kind of make me cringe a little bit, but
Oh,
Yeah.
was the video?
I know I hear you saying it's okay, it's gonna be
It's
fine.
okay. And let me tell you why it's okay, because I forgot to tell you this. Before we start the procedure, we do clean the area and we put a cream on there that sits for about 30, maybe 40 minutes. The cream is a numbing agent. So therefore, you don't feel anything but the needle stick
Oh,
to draw the blood.
okay. I'll
Ta-da!
make my appointment then. Okay. I'll do it.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
that was fun.
So, and also talking about beauty, even when you were talking about the packages that you have available, especially during COVID, that you created
Mhm,
for just routine facial cleaning and cleansing, I guess.
mhm.
At what age would you recommend that? I'm assuming both men and women, but at what age should we start our face routine? I grew up to where they're like water only on your face, don't use soap, wash your face with soap
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
only once a week, not more than that. But clearly that's not working anymore. So yeah, what would you recommend?
Usually, what I say is when you hit puberty. So, usually, we want to start like a year or two before puberty. Most of the moms come to me with their 8-year-old girls because puberty now starts at 9 years
Early.
old. Can
Yeah,
you
so early.
believe that? So,
No.
usually, I get them the year before because they'll say, can you go over how to use deodorant? And that way we know and we start good facial practices. The first thing we do with our younger kids is just wash your face. And so I'll have a good skincare sheet with the mom. I have different suggestions as to what to wash your face with. Then the minute hormones hit and we hit acne and oily skin, then we bump it up a little bit. We need to wash our face twice a day, every day without fail. A lot of times my guys
Yeah.
don't like to do that. My high school guys, they think all they have to do is just in the shower and they're done. And then they wonder why
Yeah.
their acne is still not cleared. And I'm going, no, you have to wash your face. So depending on how oily they are, we'll tell them to use something that will help to degrease them or something that will help to exfoliate them. And then the other time we give them something milder so they won't dry out too much.
Mhm.
Once you hit early 20s, that's when I start talking about, and that's just for me personally, to use their cleanser twice a day. And every morning we need to start wearing sunscreen. Now, the only reason why I may change on that is if I have an athlete in high school years, like my long distance runners who are outside for an incredibly long period of time, my soccer people, I will tell them, let's go ahead and get started with sunscreens. Now, usually by 18, I'm already talking about it. But definitely when they hit their 20s, cleanse twice a day, moisturize it with the sunscreen. And the key to moisturizer is find one that's right for you. So every moisturizer is not right for everybody. So say, for example, if you have oily skin, you want a water-based type moisturizer that
Okay.
has the sunscreen built in it. If you have dry skin, you want a moisturizing based sunscreen, moisturizer, which is going to feel really creamy with the sunscreen in it. And a lot of times we have samples at the office. I'll say, okay, let's try these few and let's see which ones that you're going to like. And you can tell once you put it on, you know which ones are water based. You know, I have my favorites, of course, but it's just get to your dermatologist and say, I know you got samples. Please, may I have one or two so I can try them out?
Right.
And are those products available only at the dermatologist office, or are there some that they can get over the counter?
So you can get them over the counter, Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, in your favorite drugstore or favorite grocery store. I will tell you a couple of my favorites. I love Neutrogena. It does have a water-based one with a really nice sunscreen, and it doesn't make me look gray. And I think that's the most important part. A lot of my teens, they do not want to look ashy or gray from a sunscreen. I like Cetaphil. I like CeraVe. CeraVe has a really nice one also. So yeah, those are a few that will help you get you on the right track.
Yes, I was going to ask that as well for the cleansers, but I'm assuming those same product lines, you like the cleansers that they do as well.
I do indeed. I think the Neutrogena has an ultra gentle cleanser, which is really good. It's a little bit on the mild side, but it has just a little bit in there just to kind of take care of any excess oil and stuff. So I really like that one. Your Cetaphil and CeraVe are non-soap cleansers. So sometimes if you have acne skin and you use that, it's going to leave a residue on the skin and it may make you feel a little oilier.
That's good to know.
So speaking of moisturizers, for the African American community, we believe in the butters, right? Cocoa butter, shea butter. That's like part of the culture. You gotta have your butters. So I'm curious to know
on everything.
Right. Right. Literally. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are about the butters for Black skin in particular, since it's a thing, but just also in general.
That's a really good question. I like the butters for the hair. They're really good. Your custards, your butters, especially since we're doing natural hairstyles now, braids, and you really need the extra amount. Your black soaps, people love black soaps as well as shea butter and cocoa butter. I will say that they do put moisture in. They smell good. Be careful with your black soaps. Sometimes it can dry you out and people can get an irritation reaction. I have patients that come in and they get a little bit overzealous. You know, they're supposed to use it maybe once a day or once every other day and use something mild in between. They'll use it twice a day, every day, and they'll come out all irritated. So be mindful of that. Your butters, a lot of times people use them for discoloration. It's good because if you're dry and you're helping the dryness, that will automatically start to correct some of the discoloration. But after a while, then it will just get oily and it won't do anything. So initially it's good. And then after that, come to see us. I think that's my response for everything.
I love it.
Yes, we'll
I love it.
Yeah, use as much as you want because you're going to have to see me after you're done.
Oh, you look gorgeous. No.
Well, there were a couple of questions that I wanted to throw out, Dr. Haynes. Ms. Marsha's asking if you do any type of tattoo removal.
No, I do not. There are new machines that are out now that work very well for all skin types and all pigment color. That was one thing that I opted not to do. We do have a laser that we do other things with, like we can get rid of dark spots on the face with it. We can get rid of dark moles on the face, but we opted not to do tattoo removal. Sorry.
And are you doing any virtual visits or are you face-to-face only?
Yeah, we still do virtually, especially when COVID first hit. We were virtual all day, every day. And, you know, I like to talk to people in person and I like to touch them and stuff. So that was very difficult for me to get used to. But now that we've been vaccinated, and I hope everybody's getting vaccinated, I've had my 2, we're allowing people into the office and we're able to see them. Everybody's masked up. We do all the precautionary sanitization that we need to do. So we are able to see people. I do stand back at least 6 feet until I'm ready to look at it. Then I let you drop your mask. I get up close, I take a look, and then I'm back 6 feet away so I can go over it. So yes, we do in person, and yes, we still do some telemedicine, especially those who say, I just can't make it in, please work with me, and we will.
Yeah. Kim Jacobs also asked, do you offer a treatment to remove facial blackheads?
Yes, I do. We have several treatments to remove facial blackheads. One, we have a really nice aerolase laser that we use that does a nice job on acne and some blackheads. It gets in there. A laser is a focused beam that actually gets in there, and it helps to destroy the little gland up underneath there that's causing this. We also do chemical peels, really good way to extract them, pull them out, and get them to exfoliate. Microdermabrasion, it has a diamond tip that we actually rub over, and it has a suction. So as you're going over the face, you're actually sucking out all the pores, cleaning them out, and exfoliating. So that always helps. And we have an esthetician who actually manually extracts them too. Of course, that's her favorite, not my favorite. But it works. If we have to manually get some out, then she's like, I'll do it. I'm like, okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, you may have already spoken to this, but what about, well, I'm assuming you do Botox also, or
Yes.
no? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And is that what takes care of the little wrinkles, the crow's feet, and the forehead wrinkles? Is
Yes.
that what Botox is good for?
Oh God, Botox is wonderful. It's the best thing since sliced bread. Okay. So yes, we use the Allergan Botox. We use the brand name one. I don't trust hardly any others. And that's just me personally. I mix it up to the right dilution. And then, yes, we can take care of, we call these the 11. So when you frown, you get that a little 11. Oh, it's time for some Botox, isn't it? So we put 3 shots here to kind of help that. It helps the muscles not respond to the nerve stimulation. So that helps to, essentially, most people calling it freezing the area. So not only can we get the 11s, we can get the crow's feet here. We can get the bunny lines here. You know, when some people smile, they get the little crinkles. We can stop that. We can get the little lines in the forehead. And there's some other things we can do with it too. But mainly, the most important one is here and here. When I smile, you see my little crinkles come out. And when I frown, you see this. A lot of people say, what age is the best age to start? When I first started in dermatology and Botox first came out, it came out before me. I'm not that old. So when Botox was really readily for the face, we'll say when you get the lines, then you come see us. Now we're catching them early in their 20s, and we're telling them we do baby tox. So baby Botox, we use minimal amounts. And that way it prevents the wrinkles from happening, so you don't have to worry about it later on. And most of my ladies come in, my 20s and 30-year-olds, they usually get it done maybe once every 8 months or once a year. And then as they get a little older, if they need it, we can up the dosage to the real dose. So we can do minimal amount with baby Botox is what I call it. And then the bigger amounts for when you really need it.
Got you. So interestingly, this is the kind of work you do on others, but do you have any of these things done on yourself? And then who does it? I mean, you can't do it to yourself, right?
Okay. Yes, I have pretty much everything we talk about. I've had it done or I've tried it just to make sure. So yes, I've had the Botox. I love Botox, and it's just about time for me to get I'm looking like, yeah, it's about time for me to get redone. I usually get it right here. My forehead is pretty good. I get it around my eyes. I do laser hair removal. So we have that at the office. I get it done right here. I've got like a few, you know how you get those, like, we'll say 3 or 4 little hairs that are bugging you. And you're like, I just want it done. We have a laser technician who actually helps with that. I've had the micro pen. Yes, I had the cream first, so it did not hurt. Okay. And I had that done all over my face. And I love that one. It's really good because it works on acne. It works on acne scars. It works on discoloration. It works on general overall skin tightening. So like if you have like a little fine line here, it'll give you that little push that you think that you need. Okay. Other things, We have a radio frequency microneedling called a Vivace, and it's just like that little pin one, but this one has like a little red light that goes along with it. I got it for the light, yeah, right. And so as the needles go in, there is a radio frequency that actually goes down, stimulates the collagen, and we can dial it up high or we can dial it up low. So that way we can get skin tightening. Tends to do really well for face, chin areas and stuff. So yeah, more fun.
Wow. I'm trying to decide if I'm brave enough to try any of these.
Oh, it's easy.
Maybe.
Look, if I'm the biggest baby in the world, if I can get any of this stuff done, then anybody can do it.
Okay, we'll
think
see.
you can do it, Kim. I think you can. I think you can make it.
I always say, well, I gave birth, so nothing can be harder than that.
No.
So much easier. And it's so funny. Well, it does my chemical peels, my microderm, the laser tech does all the laser things. I'm getting ready to train my daughter to start doing my Botox. I don't have to go to my doctor friends to do it. She starts her derm residency in July at GW up in DC. And so when she comes home for break, I'm going to say, okay, I think I did it. I think she did me once already, but I think I'm going to have to get her to do a little bit more.
Wow.
And then second daughter will be coming through, and then I'll be teaching her also.
Wow.
I like that business plan. That's a good business plan. That's a retirement plan. It's a business plan. It's great.
Well, you are a good, you're good advertisement because your skin looks great. You look beautiful.
Yeah. Oh,
and you can say, it works for me.
Well, you ladies, look, you ladies don't even need my services because you look wonderful.
Yeah.
We're still coming to see you. We're still
okay. Well, come. I'll take it.
This is all just makeup.
It's wonderful. We'll have fun.
Yeah, I think that I just wanted to make one quick comment. I think what I love about dermatology is there is the part, the healthcare part, because it's just not the beauty. I mean, there is the like you were saying, doing the body checks, suspicious, markings on a body and stuff. There is the serious, I don't want to say serious, but you know what I mean? Like,
you're right.
Just the part that is very serious because it could be life or death for a person. But you're able to also complement your practice with enhancing the natural beauties of your patients. Right. And I love that you're able to combine those two things in one roof, under one practice. Yeah. I would love to know what your days look like, how you're hopping back and forth, or if you're,
we try to separate it a little bit because I get kind of ADD and a little scattered. So we try to put regular patients and then cosmetics on a separate day. And you're exactly right. We just had a lady in the other day that came in for dry face and acne on her face. And when I looked at her, I'm just like, we need to get some blood work. We need to do a biopsy. And the other physicians she'd had a lot of other issues in her body, ended up diagnosing her with lupus. And the other family practice and primary care didn't even think about it. And I just said, of all the symptoms and then the rash that came along with it, I said, we're African-American females. We're in the right age group. We've got to get this blood work done. And she's like, do I have to? And that's when I have to become a real physician and say, yes, you have to. And then if that doesn't do it, then we're getting the biopsy and then we're going to retest you again. So, we have all fun and games, but when it comes down to straight medicine, yes, we do it and we do good medicine.
Yeah.
I love that.
Great. That's really important. So we are actually out of time. But I want you, before you say goodbye, to let us know what you have, some up and coming things that you were going to be offering, and we want to make sure everyone knows how to find you. So go ahead and just real quick tell us all the stuff that we need to know about.
Well, I'll just do one big one. Our latest thing that we're getting ready to offer is our new Vela Shape. And it's for everybody that's been home during COVID. And you have that little pooch or that little back flap or something, because I've been sitting with telemedicine, sitting home eating. So the Vela Shape actually is a laser that actually heats the fat. And when it heats the fat, it shrinks it. So that way we're able to get rid of the little pooch, the little flab, Now, it's not for weight loss. Don't get me wrong. You still have to exercise and eat right and do all the things for weight loss. But this is to take care of, like if you had a C-section and you got that pooch that you can't get rid of, I can help. Also, on our website, Dr. Stacy Haynes, that's DrStacyHaynes.com. Please go in there and look at our essentials, see what you need. You don't have to go shopping or anything. It's there. And I'm going to tell you, I put them together. They're from different product lines. And these are some of my favorite things, but they will go quick because once that particular brand runs out, I will hunt and search for another one and will replace it. So if you're going to get it, get it. If you see it, because when you go back, we've done this now since COVID started. And once a certain thing gets out, it's gone. So go on the website, look under the essentials and see if there's something that might help. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Oh, it was such a pleasure. We will have to find an excuse to bring you back.
Of course.
God bless you. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
You have several of your patients who are in the comments singing your praises.
Oh,
so
really? Oh,
yes.
So
you must do good
they
work.
know me. The way you see me right now, this is how I'm at the office. I'll walk in, hey, okay, so that's me.
Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you so much again. God bless you. We're going to say goodbye. And Yen, I think we have a couple of scriptures to go with.
I do. So our first scripture is from Corinthians 4:16. Though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. Psalms 139:13 says, "For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you for all I am, fearfully and wonderfully made." And Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them."
I love that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Very our conversation today.
It was an awesome conversation. It
Fearfully
was, yeah. And that's what, kind of caught me in her bio, in when she talks about the natural beauty. And just making sure that we all get frustrated, especially when we're aging. Kim, you and I have talked, we part our hair and all the gray that's there, or the wrinkles and the dark circles, just everything that's happening as we're getting older. But just to remind ourselves, even in those frustrations, that we are wonderfully made. In spite of all of that, and our inner self is being renewed day by day. I'll take that. I will take that.
Right. So the outer beauty, of course, you want to be in place, but we need to not forget about the inner beauty, which is going to last much longer.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been fun all the way around. I've enjoyed it.
Me too.
It's funny, as we're talking to Dr. Haynes, we're talking about the serious, skin things that may be connected to what's going on with your body. But then there's also the other side, which is the fun, like beauty treatments and things like that. So
yes,
it's all good, right? It's all
good. It is all good.
Taking care of ourselves. And
absolutely. The importance of that. Yes, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that. Yeah.
Right. And doesn't that just perfectly wrap up what we've talked about all month?
Yes,
we've talked about the mental and the physical health.
Yeah.
So I feel good about the way we closed it out.
You've done well. Yes, you've done really good. And congratulations again on episode 50. I'm glad I was here for 50.
I know, me too. I thank all of you who are out there watching for hanging in here with us all these weeks. And we're going to keep it rolling. Next week kicks off April. And I'm particularly excited about this topic because it might be a little controversial. I think we're going to have some good discussion around this topic of women in ministry. It's not controversial to me, but it is something that has been talked about within the Christian church. And so we're gonna go there. So y'all be sure to join us. We kick off a new theme next week. Until then, be blessed. Yen, I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
This month has been all about women in medicine. Next week, we kick off a brand new theme, Women in Ministry. Are we losing our religion?